This is Omar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in New York City, Matchroom, on a 2-week tour of the States. We start with Taylor Serrano out the Garden and then move on to Canelo Bivol in Las Vegas. We'll start here in New York. Why is this such a big occasion, Frank? Taylor Serrano.
It's massive. We saw today, just already so early in fight week on Tuesday, the turnout at the media event we did at the Empire State Building, and then even here as well. It's great to see, and it deserves it because it's a huge fight and a huge couple of weeks for us and DAZN. Looking forward to it.
What are we expecting from this female clash? But as Eddie said, we shouldn't really call it that. It's just a big occasion for the sport. What are you expecting from Taylor Serrano?
I think we're going to see a great fight. You've got the two best going in there. You've got the 7-time world champion against the undisputed champion. It's a fight that we've spoken about for years and years and years, and it's finally nearly here, just 4 days away. So I think we're going to see a great performance from both of them. They train very hard, and an important point, like Eddie said, this isn't female boxing. This is a moment for the sport. This is transcending the whole sport of boxing, and we've seen that just from the people, the interest in the event, ticket sales through the roof, and going to be a great night.
As we said, move on to Canelo Bivol next week, but we've got to mention one fight on this card that's gripped a lot of people, Jesse Vargas and Liam Smith. I spoke to Jesse Vargas just now, and I said, how do you see this fight going? It was my first question. He said, I'm knocking him out. So that's a pretty bold prediction. A very good fight between Vargas and Smith. Yeah,
definitely, 100%. It's been a long time coming as well. It was originally supposed to be Feb 5th, that card. Jesse Vargas pulled out, I think, through COVID, I think it was, and glad we could get it on here because it just made the event even bigger. So that's a massive fight. I think Liam Smith's looking in great shape. Jesse Vargas, been focused on this, and you got Galauya fight as well in the undercard as well. He's in his second fight. Great to have him out here. You got Austin Williams, you got the Cruz DAZN undisputed fight as well. So it's a stacked card from top to bottom.
Don't forget Sky Nicholson, otherwise I should have some words with you.
No, I was going to add that in afterwards, and then you said Sky Nicholson, so I didn't forget Sky Nicholson. Sky Nicholson's on the card as well. Said it 3 times.
Moving on to next week in Las Vegas, one of the biggest fights of the year, Canelo Alvarez, always a big occasion, but in a real live fight with Dmitry Bivol.
Yeah, 100%. It's a real tough fight. Going up to 175, looking to become a world champion at that weight. He's done it once against Kovalev already, but it's a tough fight. I think Dmitry Bivol, we're going to see the old Dmitry Bivol. I think he may have struggled a little bit to get up for some of the fights recently, and I think he's a great talent, and it's going to be very interesting. But Canelo's looking a beast in training. Coming up from 168. So it's a huge weekend in Las Vegas for us as well.
Frank, we know Canelo Saunders did really well on DAZN. And his last fight on Showtime with Caleb Plant, I believe, did 800,000 buys on pay-per-view. Now, this is DAZN's first pay-per-view fight in the States. Just to clarify, it's in the UK. You can watch it on normal DAZN. But it's the first pay-per-view fight that DAZN are doing in the States. So what is a success, in your opinion, on pay-per-view for Canelo?
We've never really spoken about numbers publicly, and DAZN have never done that. But DAZN, one thing to note about DAZN is they have a huge subscriber base, but also a huge base of database of people to go out to that are true boxing fans. I think really DAZN are one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, broadcast boxing brand there is. You look at their social media following. I'm not saying obviously people will say comparing it to Sky Sports or Showtime or ESPN, but I'm saying boxing as a sport. When you look at their social following, they focus on the sport as a whole, not just the shows they do, not just the shows we do. They want to build a following for the sport. So I think they're expecting strong numbers, and I think they've got a great team that I'm sure will deliver as well. So I won't say exact figures because that's not the way they do things, but Canelo, I think it's his 11th or 12th pay-per-view fight. He's obviously had the DAZN fights on the subscription, but it's his 11 or 12 pay-per-view fights, and he's always delivered. He's a superstar, isn't he? And I'm sure he will do this time.
Okay, you won't reveal what is the targeted pay-per-view kind of success for DAZN?
Ask Joe Markowski.
Catching up with tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be coy about it as well. But just to counteract your point, you said about DAZN focusing on boxing, and they've got a huge platform on YouTube, Instagram, all the social media. They don't even just cover DAZN fights, they do everything. But in terms of other sports networks, in terms of ESPN, Fox, Sky, BT, because they've got the major sports, i.e. football back in the UK and probably here, I'm not too educated on it, but basketball, football, baseball, Is that a disadvantage for DAZN that they don't have the major sports in the UK and US? I know they have it in Germany, Italy, Canada, etc. But in the UK, US, at the moment, it is just boxing focused. Is that a bit of a disadvantage, Frank?
No, I think, you got to be honest. Obviously, everyone always talks about the Sky platform. It's a massive platform, with the Premier League football, with all the sports they've got across and not just their sports platforms, but across their entertainment platform and the Sky system itself. So, you can't take away from that. I think my point is, in terms of boxing and boxing fans and that base of fans who have an interest, so it may be all well and good. You might have 10 million followers of sport, but only 1 million of those might be interested in boxing. I think DAZN have captivated that core audience of people, and I really think the huge part is the way they, like we say, they cover every event. They're not afraid to cover other people's events. They're not afraid to give other people exposure, which is good, which is what we need, because ultimately that's going to be what grows the sport. But yeah, you can't shy away from the fact that ESPN have got a massive platform, as you say, with the other sports they've got. Sky Sports have, Showtime, HBO, all these places have. But they've also been around for a long, long time. I'm not going to say how many years, because I couldn't give you the correct answer. But I think, like I say, the strength is from a DAZN perspective. As you say, they've got a lot of sports in a lot of different markets, but they've also built that fan base of boxing fans as well.
Well, talking about other events, I will get your reaction to Saturday night, where we saw Tyson Fury defend his lineal and WBC title against Dillon. Yeah, your thoughts?
Did you say lineal?
Yes.
No, look. No. I was joking. It looked great. I watched it. I paid my $24.95. Had some friends over. It was Tyson Fury that he went in there and did the job. Dillon White, I'm sure, will be back. I know people saying maybe he should retire now, but I don't think. I definitely had Tyson Fury was definitely winning the fight. It was clear, but he wasn't outclassing Dillon in a way that you said Dillon didn't deserve to be in there, and Dillon got caught with a shot. So there's no reason why he wouldn't want to carry on. Tyson Fury unquestionably is right now the number one heavyweight in the world. But we've seen these things change over the years, so let's see what he chooses to do next. Hopefully he doesn't retire, because I definitely think I would love to see the undisputed fight. Hopefully that is Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. We're obviously working through the details of the Usyk fight, but yeah, look, great performance from him. You can't take anything away. Show looked great as well, so fair play to him. Good.
I was going to ask you about the production. I know you and Eddie have had your thoughts on the undercard, and a lot of fans have had their thoughts on the undercard. But in terms of the main event, the ring walk, the fireworks, etc., what did you make of the production? I know that's something that Matchroom and DAZN focus a lot on. So, what did you make of the production on the night for the main event?
Yeah, I love a good firework. I think they left him in the ring for a little bit too long, to be honest. Dillon. He was in there for quite a while, wasn't he? It looked good in there. Obviously, the crowd looked great as well. I miss Sweet Caroline. I didn't. Yeah, great show. I'm not going to sit here and fault it, because it's good for the sport. Moments like that, events like that, are good for the sport. Those pictures that go around the world are great. So we should all be championing that. You can go on for days about the things we've spoken about before, whether it's undercard, etc. But that was a good night for the sport, so fair play.
Frank, I know this is a bit of a hypothetical question, because Tyson Fury says he's retiring. Whether that happens or not is a different case. And also, in terms of this question, Joshua has to really beat Usyk. If both things happen where Fury doesn't retire and Joshua beats Usyk, are you and Frank Warren going to sit down, whether it's you, Eddie, someone from Matchroom, are you going to sit down and get this sorted?
Look, we'd love to get it sorted. Obviously, it's the biggest fight. We want to try and make it happen. We've been down the road a lot of times, but hopefully we could find a way of making it happen. Like you say, Joshua's got the Usyk fight first, which we're working to finalise the details now, and then that would be great. But if he retires, then he'll have to fight someone else for the undisputed, won't he? So let's see what happens. Yeah,
of course. As I said, hypothetical. Joshua's got a massive task on his hands. Fury has said he's retiring, so we have to take that. Do you believe he will? Well, he's done it all, so he might well do. He's made a lot of money. He may just want to go away with his family and live a quiet life. But also, if AJ does win, it's a massive, lucrative deal to be made. So that might pull him back in. And that's where really my question come from is, one's with Frank, one's with Eddie, one Matchroom. So you've got to sit down and make this happen, surely, for the good of the sport.
Yeah, no, look, we want to make it happen. So, but it's there'll have to be a lot of work that goes into it. But let's get the stage by stage. Let's get through the first bit. I don't think he'll retire if Anthony Joshua wins. I think he will. And the reason for that is I think there's more there with AJ and Fury because of the history. I don't think he's got that with Usyk. And, you know, it's a different type of fight, isn't it? They all bring different attributes. But, yeah, let's see what happens. Hopefully, as I say, he doesn't.
Frank Smith, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV here in New York City. We look forward to a good card on Saturday night live on DAZN, and then moving on to the big one with Canelo Bivol in Las Vegas. All right, thank you.
Thanks, mate. Good to see you.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.